But in 2022, something changed. This was not a sudden explosion. It was a slow build-up that had been forming for decades. Ukraine stood between two worlds. To the east, Russia. To the west, Europe and NATO. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukraine became independent. But independence did not bring stability. Its location made it both strategic and vulnerable. As NATO expanded eastward, Russia grew increasingly uneasy. To Moscow, Ukraine moving west was not politics, it was security. In 2014, tensions finally broke when Russia annexed Crimea and borders were changed by force. Eastern Ukraine fell into conflict and trust collapsed completely. For years, the fighting remained limited, but the pressure never stopped. Troops gathered, exercises grew larger, warnings were issued, and diplomacy failed. Then came February 24th, 2022. Before sunrise, missiles crossed the border, airfields were struck, radar sites went dark, and explosions echoed across Ukrainian cities. This was not a warning shot. It was a full-scale invasion. Russian forces advanced from multiple directions with a plan that seemed clear: strike fast and end it quickly. Kyiv was the main objective, and the world expected Ukraine to fall. But Ukraine did not collapse. Instead, it resisted. Small units moved fast. Drones filled the sky. Russian convoys slowed, supply lines stretched, and the invasion stalled. What was meant to be a short war became something else. The conflict entered a new phase. Europe responded with sanctions. The United States sent weapons. Intelligence began flowing in real time, and Ukraine was no longer fighting alone. Russia realized this war had expanded, not geographically, but strategically. Technology now shaped the battlefield. Precision weapons, long-range strikes, missiles versus defenses, speed versus detection. This was no longer a traditional war. It was a systems war. And this is where the next chapter begins, with rockets designed to strike unseen and defenses built to control the sky. HIMARS S-400. In part 2, we examine what happens when precision meets air defense. What followed was not just escalation, but adaptation. Both sides began learning from every strike, every failure, every loss. The battlefield became a testing ground where technology evolved faster than strategy. Ukraine focused on precision. Small numbers of accurate strikes replaced massive bombardments. Supply depots, bridges, command centers, targets chosen not for size, but for impact. Each hit forced Russia to stretch its defenses thinner across a wider front. Russia responded by reinforcing air defense, layers of radar, missile shields, electronic warfare systems designed to confuse, jam, and blind incoming threats. Control of the sky became as important as control of the ground. Drones multiplied across the battlefield. Some watched, some targeted, some exploded. They hovered above cities, forests, and trenches, turning the air itself into contested space. For soldiers below, danger no longer came only from the horizon. It came from above. Artillery still mattered. Tanks still moved. Infantry still fought street by street. But every movement was now tracked, analyzed, and measured in seconds. Visibility became vulnerability. Civilians lived inside this new reality. Sirens replaced silence. Shelters replaced homes. Cities adapted to war, not as a moment, but as a condition. Life continued under constant uncertainty. As months passed, the war showed no sign of ending. Neither side achieved total dominance. Instead, The conflict
We are
hardened into
seeing increased
endurance,
activity in Sector 4.
economic,
Mobilize the
military,
strategic reserves.
psychological.
Understood.
The question was no
Missiles are
longer
moving
who
now.
would win quickly, but who could last longer. And beyond Ukraine, the world watched closely. Because what was happening here was not isolated. It was shaping the future of warfare itself. A future where speed outweighs size, where information moves faster than armies, where a single system can shift an entire front. This war did not just redraw maps, it rewrote rules. And as new weapons entered the field and defenses raced to keep up, one truth became clear. The conflict was no longer only about territory. It was about control of air, of water, of time. This evolving battlefield would decide not just the outcome of the war, but the shape of wars yet to come.